Okay, we are going live. I do not know where their creative will be joining or not, as this is kind of the, hey, he kind of wanted me to run it overnight, and this is me meeting him halfway. The room that we weren't supposed to get into yet. Okay. Still not sure where we're supposed to go once the sand is emptied. But there seems to be a stair step where there's this one, and I imagine next there'll be one down there. Let's see here. Let's look at our research. 80, and if I remember correctly, that means we can get a speed boost. What did we need green science for? Let's see here. That should help out a bit. Okay. So now it's just a waiting game. It's a matter of pumping this down. Oop, oop. I know what that sound was. Yep. Level 14, yep. Okay. While I'm thinking about it, this one. Let's get the voice chat up and running just in case he does decide to come in. And power is charging up. Yeah, I kind of figured you'd be busy, and that's why, like, if you notice the stream even has a question mark on whether you'll be joining, it's not because you don't want to, it's I don't know whether you can, but I figured I'd meet you halfway with the running it overnight. Here. Yeah, it's kind of just a waiting game right now because we got to have this sand get pumped out, which granted it's pumping out pretty quickly, but that's also a whole lot of sand to get pumped out. I saw it without the question. Thought you might have not changed the title. No, I did change the title because, like, again, I was not sure what you were up to. I knew the moment I went live, you would get the alert. And it'd be like, all right, he might join, he might not, he might be busy. We're at 409 cubes and climbing. Give that guy more fuel. He will be pumping for ages, but I'm thinking about setting up a passive system where we just have to feed it, but it will work as we feed it. Yeah, my uncle collects things and sells them in his junk shed. His wife doesn't want any more stuff. Uncle's supposed to try to get rid of stuff without replacing them with more stuff. No, that is a totally valid thing. In fact, the kind of the joke is my mother-in-law has kind of said she's at that point with herself where she needs to not gather more things. Which, like, makes getting her presents kind of hard, because it used to be super, super easy. It used to be, if you saw something gnome, get it, because she loves gnomes. But now she's like, no more gnomes, I don't have any more space for them in my house. And so I try to improvise, and, like, for, last Christmas, I got her, a chocolate milk, case thing, where it was a gnome-themed chocolate milk kit. Her old neighbors, which lived there for years, recently moved, and the four girls consider her grandma. So I'm like, if nothing else, the kids can use it. All right. Get the secondary pump up and running. And let's put some sand in there to begin with. I'm still kind of waking up myself. Oh. He's got 3 storage containers like the one that goes on boats. Those are called sea trains. Uh, there used to be all full to the top, and now they're about half or so, as well as a large shed and a second shed built for 3 vehicles And more stuff. That is a lot of stuff. Yeah, Connex boxes or sea trains are... I'm very familiar with those. My brother's got, like, I think he's up to 3 of them at his house. And every job I've worked at uses them for storage as well. I'm also familiar... I want to say Reefback, but that's probably wrong. I'm probably getting it confused with Subnautica. There's also the refrigerated version of those things, which caused some issues some years ago because a Chinese company started selling a cheap refrigerant for them, which turned out to be R11. And R11 does not play well with the aluminum parts of the pumps. Oh no, it was you needed aluminum. The R11 interfered with the metal in the pumps, and it became this hypergolic compound. Like, it was pyrophoric, so the moment air touched it, it exploded. And the owner of the... Like, I found this out after the fact, because when I was working in refrigerant, the boss was like, oh yeah, I was the one guy in the entire country that A, knew how to handle it, and B, had the equipment to handle it. But it was so bad, some companies were literally just throwing them overboard for fear that they would explode, because you had to have a special pump to evacuate the refrigerant. Otherwise, it would react with your pump just as much. And it was not a fun day, although nothing went wrong, when we're doing an inventory of the building and we come upon like 20 cylinders, and he goes, oh, yeah, those. When you get a chance, you're going to have to send those to the home office by ground. You remember those exploding refrigerant things that I was telling you about? Those are them. It's like, great. You're telling me that I have 20 cylinders in my facility that if they leak can explode. Yeah. Luckily, we were able to deal with it, and they were able to get disposed of properly. But yeah, definitely not a fun day for me when it's like, you're telling me I have 20 bombs in my building? This is going well. Well, see, and this is the thing. The canisters were about the size of, they're about 2 to 3 feet. If I put it in a house, would the house disappear? One of those cylinders could easily make the house disappear if it properly exploded at full force. The trick with that type of explosion is it's all about how much surface area you can get before the detonation happens. If you're able to do it in a very controlled way, you don't get an explosion, you just get a jet of flame. If you happen to have it where all 20 pounds of it goes at one moment, then you can say goodbye to your house and your neighbor's house. Which is why some shipping companies were literally just ditching them overboard, because if that container exploded, it would take out, like, the surrounding containers. Hey, I'd take the danger of a flamethrower over a explosion any day of the week. in comparison, a flamethrower is so much safer, even though a flamethrower is a war crime. Well, specifically using a flamethrower on people is a war crime. Yeah, no. I do not fancy burning alive either. But a flamethrower is a lot easier to dodge than an explosion. Alright. Exactly. Well, and especially in a, like, I was in a refrigerant reclamation facility. I had so many pressurized cylinders. It's kind of like a grand explosion would use the wall of shut. Yeah. So I was in a facility that had hundreds of cylinders that were pressurized with refrigerant, including 2 very large ones, like 20,000-pound tanks. If the explosion would go off, it would cause a chain reaction of explosions. And some of those refrigerants are flammable. So yeah, if they had gone off, it would have caused a chain reaction, a whole lot of shrapnel, and a whole lot of people would be having a bad day. If it had gone off while I was in the building, I probably would not be having a bad day because I probably would not have survived the explosion. Because you can take your pick on what would have killed me, whether it be the shrapnel, the concussion blast, or the fact that had all that gone off, there would have been nothing to breathe in the building. Now, there had been a fireball outside where the gases finally reached oxygen. Would you have known the explosion happened? And again, it depends on what would have killed me if the explosion had happened and where I was at in the building when it happened. If I had been standing on the production floor, no, I would not know the explosion had happened. It would have probably killed me faster than it would have taken me to realize the explosion had happened. If I had been on the other side or in my lab, yeah, I would have known the explosion would happen. And how long that would have taken to kill me, again, it kind of depended on what took me out. So, needless to say, I was very glad to get rid of those cylinders. Now, with them in their canister, the odds of anything going wrong was very, very, very low. But it was a non-zero chance. Especially when, like, I loved my workers dearly, but they had no knowledge that those things were that dangerous, because by the amount of time between when I found out they were there and got them gone was so short, I didn't bother to take the time to explain to them just how freaking dangerous they were. I was more like, yeah, guys, don't go near those. You will have a bad day. But, like, at one point, one of the mechanics kind of messed up and we had a pressure release. Like, genuine pressure relief. The pressure relief valve did what it was supposed to. He wasn't paying attention and he overfilled a tank and the pressure relief valve did its job. I can tell you that one of my workers, despite, like, if you would have saw him, you'd go, okay, he's kind of old, he's kind of rotund, he's not going to move fast. The moment the pressure relief valve opened, he was out of the building first, like, he passed everyone. But it was just like a 5 seconds of, hey, of you put too much gas in me. And everyone's like, dude, we didn't know you could move that fast. So, there's that. I guess he took my statement of, hey, if something goes wrong over here, you'll have a bad day to heart, and he was gone. Sheepishly walked back in the building. We're like, hey! Hey, that's fair. Like everyone else was mocking him. I'm like, hey, guys, he would have been alive and we all would have been dead. So I don't know how I would, it's smart to mock him. Good survival instincts. Okay, there we go. But it is crazy when I stop and reflect on the whole, oh yeah, this was dangerous enough it could have killed me. I've had way too many, oh yeah, after the fact, oh yeah, if I would have dropped that, I would have died. Alright, why aren't... There we go. Yes, I did. The fun part is, the boss had basically asked me to do, like, a research on how that process worked and all that. So, like, this was before he had told me about the incident, asked me to research the science behind it, before he realized that he still had 20 cylinders there. So I had actually explained the whole process to my coworkers before. It was one of those, guys, yeah, no, don't mess with those. And then afterwards be like, yeah, so here's what could have happened. And it's like, yeah. They're like, yeah, thank you for not telling us until they were gone. Because, yeah, that's kind of scary. I'm like, yep. And they're like, and all we needed to do is stay away from them? Yep. Okay. Because, like, they were secured where people generally didn't go. So it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a huge thing, but I was really happy when they were finally gone. just like when I worked at Waste Management, I found a vial of hydrofluoric acid. Really, really nasty stuff. And we did not have the equipment to properly deal with it if something went sideways. I went to our health and safety person, gave him like, hey, I was told we didn't have this compound on site. I found this compound and I'm letting you know, and as health and safety, this is what we need to do to deal with it in case there is an accident. He came back going, well, that is such a small amount, I was told we need to just get rid of it rather than get the safety precaution. And we did dispose of it. But people are like, dude, why are you freaking out? I go, okay, we now have safety rules where everything has to be labeled. You have to know, like, you have to have all the information, concentration, all this mandatory labeled on the container. And they're like, yeah, this sample is so old, it doesn't have that. And here's the thing. I don't know whether this is one of those compounds that gets weaker with time or stronger with time. It was already, like, it took me ages to actually track down the original manufacturer, who is no longer in business, and find the actual paperwork to find out what the concentration was. And with hydrofluoric acid, there's kind of like, okay, that's dangerous. Okay, that's really dangerous. And holy shit, that's dangerous levels. And this one happened to fall in that middle category. And it's like, well, if it gets stronger, then it could go to that super scary level. Where, like, no joke, you probably wouldn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. Because you'd have to throw that 10-foot pole away afterwards and never use it again. Or it could dilute and become less scary. And I never did find out whether that compound increases in potency or decreases in potency. I just stuck with the, let's just get it out of here, because it was already getting to the point of, if you've ever seen Who Framed Roger Rabbit, or seen any movie where they deal with chemicals and they have the big, thick, comically thick rubber gloves, those are actually what you use to handle this compound. And the moment you touch the container, you have 4 hours. After 4 hours, you need to get those gloves off, and those gloves are now contaminated and can never be used again because the compound can penetrate those thick rubber gloves. It's not a matter of will it penetrate, it's how long will it take? And this is where it's like, no, you got 4 hours to take them off, or otherwise the compound will breach your containment. Yeah, damn. Oh, and hydrofluoric acid also attacks your nerves, so if it does penetrate, you won't feel it because you won't be able to feel in those fingers. So yeah, Family Feud. What compound will most chemists refuse to work with? I like to choose hydrofluoric acid as my top answer. Because hydrofluoric acid is some nasty stuff. But it's very useful. It's very powerful. It can etch glass. You know, most compounds don't touch glass. Hydrofluoric acid is one that will. In fact, under the right conditions, hydrofluoric acid can even attack noble gases. Because, you know, we're always told, yeah, noble gases don't react with anything. Well, under the right conditions, you can get it to react with hydrofluoric acid and make a fluorine noble gas hydrogen compound. They're very unstable. They have zero practical use to my knowledge. The conditions that you need to get them are not practical, but you can get it to react to a noble gas, and that kind of scares me. Well, we're definitely getting lower, but I'm not seeing where we're supposed to go. Oh, one of the fun stories is so there's a vendor who keeps coming to work, and vendors can talk your ear off. One of the vendors showed up to work, and he just keeps yapping and yapping, and somehow we get into, yeah, I was a hazardous waste chemist, and here's some of the bad stuff that could happen to you when this stuff is exposed to you. And the guy quickly found an excuse to get up and leave, and when the other coworker showed up, he's like, "Yeah, we just found another great use for Chris. He can make the vendor hightail it out of here once he starts talking about the bad stuff that could go wrong with chemistry." Well, like one of the things that people often go, "Why do you know all this stuff?" As one of the chemists, it was actually my job to know what could go wrong, because if something went wrong, yeah, it's not good, and we need to know how to address it. So yeah, I had to know because we had those compounds on site. He just side-eyed you and started sweating to go, "Yeah, kind of." But as part of my job, I had to know what the dangers were. Why aren't you? Okay, why aren't you inserting? You're inserting. Oh, I know why you're not inserting. There's no access for it. I put it too far over. Well, that will keep it fed. So now we have a 2100 rate on unknown. What's our cube rate? Halfway there. And the fact that this one has one of these terminals makes me also wonder. But yeah, working at that hazardous waste place. Like, it was funny when the HazWhopper, because we had to do HazWhopper every year. And it's really good for a site like mine to have HazWhopper, because most people do not know how to handle the dangerous compounds, which is the whole point behind the HazWhopper. But, like, it'd be hilarious. The instructor loved having me in the class because oftentimes he'd get a kick out of things because he knew that he didn't need to tell me any of this stuff because it was literally my job to do everything. Where, like, most of the time, the reason you have HazWhopper is because they're exposed to it. There's a chance they might have to deal with it. But 99 out of 100 times, they're not going to need to know this. Meanwhile, you had me and my crew where it's like, no. We literally deal with this on a day-to-day basis. This is literally our day job. We're only doing this test because it's a requirement, because this is just part of our day-to-day training. He'd show up with some of the stuff like how to read an SDP and SDS, and he's looking at me going, yeah, just have fun. I don't need you to do the exercise. I already know what you're doing. I know you know what you're doing. You could probably teach this half of the class better than I can. But some of the fun bits is like, as part of the training, it's how to put on gloves and take off gloves. And he had a fun bit one time where he showed up and he goes, I want to see you with these gloves. Because they were the cheapest ass gloves you could get. They're the type that the moment you try to pull them off, they just shred. And he goes, I want to see if you could. And before he could even finish it, I put them on and took them off without them breaking. And he's like, I shouldn't be shocked that you can take those on and off without a problem. Because every time I try to take them off, they just shred. It's like, yeah, it's like taking off gloves. It's like literally what I do 20 times a day minimum. So yeah, just it's like the last audit I was in, he threw down the gauntlet because one of the things was, okay, your procedures say you weigh out so much, like approximately 10 grams. I want to see how close you can get to that. You know, he threw down the gauntlet, and me and my coworker told me afterwards, she's like, I didn't have to see your face. I know you had that oh shit look on your face. Because I had the oh shit look on my face. I walk over to the scale, I put the cup on, I tear it, I pick the cup up. With my other hand, I put a little weight in it. I'm about to put it down, and then I go, wait a moment. Put a pinch more in. Put it on the scale, and it goes perfectly to 10. And the auditor just like, I should have known not to challenge you. You've been doing this for years. You know what you're doing, and you clearly know what you're doing when you can sit there and just know. Like, that was not luck. You weighed it, you went to put it down, and you knew it was wrong, so you topped it off and perfectly got 10. I should have known not to put the gauntlet on you. But, like, weighing that's, like, I'm going to be honest, that was pure luck. You could call it a Hannibal moment where the little guy on my shoulder said, don't, add a little more. But it was pure luck. But his comment was still, look, you do this literally every day for 8 years. It should come at no shock that you can just know how much 10 grams is. So, same concept with taking gloves on and off. My boss even talks about it with the vinyl, where, like, I was struggling with some of the vinyl on Friday, and he even comes up, he sends me a picture afterwards, go, yeah, no, the thing was someone used the wrong type of vinyl, so that's probably threw you off. And yeah, no, I got 20 years of experience with this, and it threw me off for a loop until I realized, oh, they used the wrong vinyl. That's why it's not behaving like I expect it to. And there's been other times where it's like, all right, what did I do wrong? And he goes, nothing. I've just been doing this for 20 years, and it makes a difference. And if you look, I even have a few of those mistakes. I just have fewer because I got 20 years of experience. Some things just come with time. I go, so it's chicken sexy? And he goes, yes, it's chicken sexy. For those who don't know, there was always a big problem with chickens because male chickens in a hatchery is not beneficial, and having to wait for them to grow large enough for them to determine whether they're a rooster or not is expensive. And a guy developed a technique where they can't even put it into words on how it works. You have someone who knows what they're doing stand behind the guy who doesn't know what they're doing, and they look at it and decide, okay, is it a male or not? And if they get it right, the guy who knows goes, you got it right. If they got it wrong, you got it wrong. And they have found that, I think it's a 6 months program. After 6 months, even though they cannot articulate how they know, they know. And it's sometimes, that experience just kind of works. And I'm laughing because that's kind of how AI is working right now, is the AI tries to figure out how to do something, and there's a master control program that just basically looks at the results and either goes, no, or yeah. And through the course of training, that's how AI eventually learns how to do what it does. And it also cannot articulate in words that we understand how it understands what it does. Alright, new cave is opening up. Let's check our research. Yeah, that's going to take a good long while to get down. There is part of me that wishes I did leave it running overnight. Oh, we couldn't have left it running overnight. And now I'm able to articulate why. Because we don't, the crank generators, it would utterly collapse because we are dependent on these crank generators. And if I'd left it running overnight, this whole system would have failed. I was too tired last night to articulate it, even to myself. But there we go. There's the articulation on why we shouldn't have left it running overnight. Oh, you meant more for the cubes. Gotcha. Well, when it comes to the cubes, Did you already burn through all that fuel that I gave you? We're already at 621. So yeah, getting the cubes is not going to be an issue. You already out of fuel? Yep, you're already out of fuel. Yeah, we're already at the 628, and I've only been streaming for 46 minutes, and we were, what, at the 400s when I started? So yeah, we're going to be good on the cubes. It's the sand that I'm thinking is just going to take forever. I wonder if maybe I should stop auto feeding until well, two things. There's two things to take into account. One, I have to push something. I have to push this to get it to actually function. So even if we do hit the 1,000, I have to hit this button before it does anything. And two, if it gets to 900, yeah, I'm going to stop it. How long do you think you're going to be? Hour, 2 hours? I have no freaking idea until my uncle says that we're done long. You know, just for your peace of mind. There, for your peace of mind, I am making it where it's going into this crate. And then when we want, we can put a stacker right there and it can offload. Okay, so option C. I don't know. It's we're here until my uncle says we're done. Gotcha. But yeah, the cubes are now going into here. That way you don't have to be worried about it. Alright, so you're not getting the bio bridge. You're not getting carbon. Do I have any more planters on? I do not, but I can go get more. kind of neglected that system because it was just a research system just to get us by. But now that we're actually using it for materials, we need to properly give it what it needs. Those are assemblers, not planters. I know where I can find some seeds. Or... there we go. I feel good about using these seeds. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. Alright, and I am back. Sushi, anyone? Alright, that uses 40 of it. Alright, so that produces 4 a minute. We got 16. So yeah, that exceeds that one. Okay, so that is not. Okay. And just so you're aware, I got about 2 hours before I need to run. Oh, shnikes. Hopefully we didn't lose too much. Give you that. Doesn't look like we lost that much. In 2 hours, I need to run errands for a bit as well. Because we've changed it to today's a plasma day. You're leaving for the person's place? Okay. So just have to unload. It's 30-minute drive to my uncle's. Okay, that's... You'll probably be back before I have to go do my thing. Hopefully the spot to put this stuff is easy to get to. Oh, yeah, no, that's a solid statement. Last summer I came quite a few times to help with the junk shed. See an old guy going around with a flashlight and he's only bought green glass. Like cups and plates. Was it uranium glass? key distinction of what uranium glass is why it's green if you hit it with a black light. I suspect so, but he came over like a... Yeah. Yeah, if you hit it with a black light and it glows, it's probably uranium glass. Which I would love to get my hands on some to do some mixed sculptures. I mentioned it to my uncle and he's like, eh. I mean, I can see where most people would just be, whatever. But, you know, I'm definitely not normal people, and I find uranium glass fascinating and would love to do sculptures and other stuff with it. I saw a beautiful curio cabinet someone did with uranium glass where they basically had black velvet all inside the curio cabinet, and they had black lights, so that way the glow really popped. You're still going down. Oh, here we go.
I'm detecting mirage nearby, sir. We'll probably find her in one of these suits.
All of them have decayed severely. None of them seem to be capable of supporting life.
Yeah, I'm detecting that too.
By the way, it isn't illegal to make it anymore. It's a common misconception. The reason there is such a common misconception that it's illegal is because in the 1940s, they stopped making it. They stopped making it not because they made it illegal, but because the United States was claiming all the uranium for the Manhattan Project. So everyone just assumed they made it illegal. There are still 4 companies today that still make uranium glass. There's just not a super huge demand for it. Yeah, I thought it was illegal too. And then in my diving down the rabbit hole, I found out, oh, it's actually not illegal. And you can't, like, because I was thinking the same thing you were, like, all right, yeah, no, you're going to have to, like, hunt down antique stores and stuff like that in order to get it, and then you can melt it down. But no, apparently you can still buy it. Yeah, those are cool looking suits. And if I'm not mistaken, Mirage is supposed to be locked in one of them. So now we wait. It's actually moving pretty quickly. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to take my dishes to the sink. Alrighty, and I am back. And it is raining today, so the house is actually cold. Next week, it's probably going to be like burning up hot, but right now it's cold. Thank you. Alright, let's see what we can. Scannable. That's a solid point. I imagine there's going to be more scannables in here as well. There we go. Okay, that gives me a sense of... This room's bigger than I thought. So you're gonna be good. You're probably almost out. Yep. Okay. And how's this looking? 171. Or about roughly 800 cubes. Got to make sure that the unknown is fully fueled. Well, not fully, but consistently fueled. The nice part is with its recharge rate, we don't have to worry too hard, but it's still got a lot to be pumped out. Okay. We're starting to see the end of the complex over here. Almost where we can get through. It's just a big pile right there to stop you. Everywhere else is much lower. Yep, you know they did that on purpose.
I'm detecting Mirage nearby, sir. We'll probably find her in one of these suits.
All of them have decayed severely. None of them seem to be capable of supporting life.
Yeah, I'm detecting that too.
Yeah, that's my guess. Again, I think it'd be funny if she was a sphere, so that way she wasn't lying when she said she wasn't a cube. But yeah, she's a cube. Come on. So close. I could just crawl in there. Oh, those are windows, not doors. So this is where we need to enter. Aha!
The good news is that this bunker seems to slow the effects of the decay wave. Enough that I should be able to cycle through suits, partially regenerating those not in use, and extending my life for as long as possible. Some of these suits were decommissioned for irreparable safety failures, but I will have to take my chances. I've moved the essentials of my research to this location, and will uncover as much about Sesamite as I can. I'm certain that it is crucial to both saving the expedition and mitigating the wave. Unfortunately, what I've managed to discover so far is that the wave was triggered when someone activated a cryogenic chamber near Sector Victor.
Oops.
Perhaps Pacific had a good reason to contain whoever was down there after all. I'll watch carefully. If they emerge, I can't afford to assume they will cooperate. There is too much at stake to trust anyone.
I can't tell if her body is in this one, sir, but it seems to pull up her ID.
Extract her security cipher. I assume we'll find her research in the secure area behind her.
What are we gonna do with it if we do, sir? We're not scientists.
Mirage did everything she could. We will do the same.
Hey, Mirage.
What? I was...
Ma'am, talk to me.
Easy, Sergeant. Mirage may be agitated, and she was known to be confrontational.
Who said I was confrontational?
Major, you are with us. Breathe slowly. I believe you have transitioned into this form only recently. In a few minutes, you will adapt.
Adapt? I see. I brought this cube here with the rest of my work. I don't know why. I simply couldn't be without it. It would seem I underestimated how true that actually was. What are we? Why is this happening?
I don't know if it's the whole story, ma'am, but I was able to read the symbols at your dig sites. And the nice thing about us being cubified like this is that I can send you everything I translated. You should feel the data incoming.
I do. I'm analyzing it now. Huh. The speed of my thoughts in this form. Astonishing.
Our hope is that you will be able to devise a way of stopping this decay wave. Perhaps everything the Sergeant is sending you from the tablets will fill in the gaps of your own research.
Yes, it is. But is this... Wait. The Sesamite! No! Get it away from me!
The Sesamite? Why? What's wrong?
Because it's going to kill us! I see now that Sesamite is no gift. It is a curse. The moment this groundbreaker interrupted calixification by entering that cryopod and setting off the decay wave, Sesamite went from being the omnimaterial of our dreams to the catalyst of our demise. If this process had not been interrupted and we were assimilated, Sesamite would have been what we used to build whatever the Calixians wanted us to build. Instead, the decay wave transformed it, and it now acts as a transmission vector that spreads and amplifies the energy of the wave itself. Sesamite was designed to make us salivate. It was breadcrumb to bring us to Zulu, where the cubes could afflict us. It was the tool we would have wielded as their servants, and now it is the substance by which they will destroy us for defying them.
Contingencies within contingencies.
Can we get rid of it somehow? what if we blew it all up?
You are a genius, Sergeant. A vast conspiracy authored by an ancient alien race, immediately undone by a string of firecrackers.
It was just an idea.
No. We will have to drain Calyx of an immense quantity of sesamite, and then find a way to displace it entirely.
Displace it? To where? The surface?
Much further than that, I'm afraid. I can think of only one possibility, and it would no longer exist anywhere else.
Mirage data integrated. New location added to HUD. Projection. Sand elevation diminished. Local signal deciphered. Report to production terminal radio for triangulation. Signal triangulated. New location added to HUD. Arms and armored.
Gotcha, I already did both of those. Gotcha. $251. Need 111 more. And now, what were you trying to say, baby? I'm glad to hear that your band was on the news again. we just have to wait for it to get to the next level. Does make me wonder what we're supposed to find on 16. We're actually not getting enough fuel on here. Just for argument's sake, I'm going to do a tour of all the levels just to see what the heck's going on.
Focus, Groundbreaker. Focus. Embrace the opposite of whatever this is.
Oh, that's a bed. I thought it was the back of a sign.
A curious position. What were you attempting to accomplish here, Sergeant?
What were you attempting to accomplish strapped to a chair on an empty bridge, sir?
It was my chair. But I see your point.
Just so you know, sweetie, when you do that, it makes me want to bring him in here.
Identified. The assembled nation's industrial expedition to the planet of Calyx.
So, this is where the Groundbreaker emerged. I have no knowledge of why this facility was placed here, but I can assure you that these cryogenic storage pods could not have been removed from the Excalibur without a great deal of scrutiny. Frankly, the amount of paperwork to put these here would have nearly exceeded the amount required to put the Groundbreaker into one.
You hear that, Breaker? You were more important than a fridge.
Your medical status is diagnostic failure. Report to medical officer for unknown.
Well, like, the funny part was I was kind of like, okay, let's see if we missed anything. And we haven't come back here since we picked up Paladin, so it's actually unlocked a lot of Paladin dialogue. Yeah, and that's, I was wondering if she would say anything, and it turns out it's kind of even funnier. So is it one cube speech each time you interact with? I'm not even sure what triggers it, to be honest. It's taking the cube to the area, and again, I half expected Mirage to say some things, and turns out the green guy had things to say. But I'm just trying to kill time while we wait for the pumps to do their thing. I am seeing that and wondering about that, though. Okay, it was just an inclusion. Just a part of the rock that was hollow. Curious Mirage will make a comment about Paladin's position. Let's go find out. Oh, got turned around. There we go. Alright, I'll go in the standard way. Nope, she's surprisingly silent. Well, 24,000, that's pretty good. We were at over 40 something thousand at the start. Looks like we'll just have to wait this out. So which floor is it that stuff has to be sent to? Right now, we are just focusing on 15 and 16. And we have the cubes we need. Well, I don't disagree with you. Hence why I'm kind of already looking into getting some started. I should have gone to 8. Aunt said she'll make some food as payment for helping out. She put a pizza in, and we got here. It's almost done cooking. Pizza sounds awfully good, not gonna lie. You gonna share with the class? Yeah, I kind of agree with the last jelly bean. Thank you. I tried to grab it from everything but the smelter. Alright. Are you making the red gel on this platform, or do I have to go to, Yeah, no, and that's not a bad thing. I didn't think you were. Or not that one, this one. Oh yeah, if you need red powder, oh, do we have red powder? Yeah, I know we got more on 14. Oh no, wherever will I get the sand from? Well, whether we have too many will be very heavily dependent on whether we need to make multiple of the cubes or if it's just this one round. Oh, it's not tempting me, I'm just... You'll understand in a moment what's tempting me. Now, on the off chance we do need the other cube, it's already going to be working. All the time. Alright. In fact, just for the sake of argument, that one goes in there. Okay. So there's the last cube we need. And then this is processing all the ones. Oh. Silly guy. God, it's not these. We need the... There was a spot. C'est la vie. There we go. Let's go find that copper plate. Already set that up. We just need to set these guys up. Come in here, put all the blue gel. Here, we can put all the sand. And if only we knew where there was a source of sand. There we go. That should be more than enough to do at least 1,000 of these guys. Can't do. So I saw one on Pinterest where it's like, could you imagine Star Wars: A New Hope if when Obi-Wan walks into the cantina, Hondo is sitting there, Obi-Wan! And it's like, yeah, so Obi-Wan hid Luke on Tatooine. Was it because Anakin Skywalker would never go there in a million years because of all the trauma he suffered? No. Is it because Luke had family there? No. It's because Tatooine was Hutt-controlled space and Yondu won't mess with the Hutts. It's the only way Obi-Wan could make sure Yondu wouldn't, Alright. And you know, despite, like, his old age and his disguise, if he had walked in and saw Obi-Wan, he would have been, Obi-Wan, my good friend! How's my Jedi friend? As everyone's like, wait, there's still a Jedi? Q-bar fight. Yeah. And the scene where Obi-Wan cuts off the guy's arm, he's like, oh no, you got off lightly. I've known this man. He's done far worse to people. Alright, so yeah, we're just waiting on those sand pumps to pump. There it is. We already know where that location's kind of at. I'm guessing this is a tunnel to it. We need to wait for Creative to enjoy his pizza. Probably sitting there savoring every bite as he eats it. And then he has to get back to his place to be able to jump on. And the question is, because he's now having pizza, will he be able to get back before it's time for me to skedaddle? Because, why, initially I thought it was going to be, oh yeah, you'll be back before I have to go run errands. Those errands are in 52 minutes. And between you savoring the pizza and the drive back, you might not be back in 52 minutes. Yeah, no, not gonna lie. I'm sitting here going, pizza. Especially if it's all hot and greasy. Ooh. Mongol's a 10-minute drive away from the house. Yes, but is you savoring the pizza a 10-minute ordeal, or are you going to just sit there and, like, savor every morsel that you can? Video essays about pizza. Get every drop of grease. Hey, there'd be no judgment if that's what you did. Alright. So yeah, this is where we need to go. We just need to wait for the sand to get low enough. So, I don't know if you've been following The Last Jelly Bean. I've gotten a pretty good habit of finding where I'm supposed to get and scan the item before the game recognizes that the area is cleared. So, like, with one exception, it's been the, triangulation is required. Scan to get that thing. We scan it and it's like, it's the thing we already did. It did get me on one by 3 seconds, where had it not said, hey, please go to the thing and scan, I would have turned and scanned the item it was pointing me to. Because I was investigating the spot it sent me to. And it was literally, when we went back to where it said to go, I was literally standing in the spot I was supposed to. I just wasn't looking at it. And we can say that that was caught on film. Alright. Yeah, that is something I need to address today is I am out of beverages in this place. Or at least in this room. The box that I kept nearby is now officially empty. Phone's almost dead. Alright, so we're going to wait for your phone to die, and the moment your phones die, I'm going to trigger all the important events. Yeah, like, I just have to get up out of my chair and go get the other box. Yes, and I should go get the water. The last jelly bean is correct. Here, water, 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 water. There, I'm getting water. Right now, I'm still waiting for the big glass of chocolate milk that I drank to, a bath in a day. Congratulations, you're done now. There's worse things to be than a duck. I've said if I was to make, like, you know how all the great houses have sigils? I keep saying mine would be a duck. You let things roll off your back, you're calm on the surface, and you paddle like mad underneath. Very, very well describes me most days. So it's going to be a while before this guy processes anything, because it's got to wait for 400 cubes, and then it will make 400 cubes. I'm thinking of it, I don't think I've seen a duck sigil in a game. Yeah, ducks, you typically don't see duck sigils, which is sad. You typically don't even hear about ducks being used. It will only make... No. It won't make only 4 cubes. It will make 4 recipes of 100 cubes. At least if I'm reading that correctly. Oh, or is this a way you condense it where it will only make 4 cubes, but each cube is worth 100 cubes? That's a good question. We'll have to find out. That would really suck if it does in fact only make 4 cubes and it's just called spectral cube colorless 100 or X100, and then you would have to make 1,000 of those. Yeah, that would not be fun. I have message. Let's see what the message is about. It's probably just junk. Now we gotta wait. Hurry up and wait, then wait. Yep. It has been one of the criticisms of this game is the last few levels with the sand being as grindy as it is not... It's not fun, it doesn't really serve a purpose, but I get why they did it. And I'll just have to remember when I design my games not to make a similar design choice. And at this moment, I am going to go, alright, everything's tended to for a bit, so I really can't stand the grind for the grind, as in JRPG. Yeah, like, grind for the sake of grind, like, there's different grinds where I can kind of, but not really respect certain grinds. Like, JRPGs grinding to get levels up, a lot of times it serves multiple purposes, because not only are you grinding for XP, you're grinding for money, and you can use that opportunity to like refine your battle tactics so you yourself get the experience as well as your characters. But even then, there's a point where grind for the sake of the grind isn't great, because as I just said, there's reasons why you want that grind. This is not... We've set it up. We have a very well-designed system on level 14. Oh, level 14. Level 14. But now we're just kind of in a holding pattern. And it's going to be a holding power... Like, we've already made this immense build. To make it any bigger is just silly. We could, but again, we're already producing so much more, and it would just be, oh, we're going to just make even more, so that way we can have more sand pumps to make it go faster. And that's not fun. That's not fun on, I think, any level. Even showing off, oh, I made it where you can do this, it's just a grind. And you get situations like this where, okay, we've been running this game, we're at 50 something hours in this game, and for the last 6 hours we've just been maintaining the equipment, making small improvements, but for the most part, we're not making any huge, noteworthy accomplishments. We're sitting here watching sand fall. The excitement we get is in the, ooh, it opened up a new crack! And now we gotta wait another hour before the next crack is opened. As there's times I have to watch paint dry at work, yes, this is slower than watching paint dry. Which, like, I have come to realize that, you know, you want to design your games so they'd be entertaining not just for a player, but for people to watch stream. Because why some people go, well, if people stream the game, then they're not going to buy the game because they get to see the story experience. Like, Creative is playing X4 because I'm playing X4. I was playing Dyson Sphere Program because he was streaming Dyson Sphere Program. Most times, from my experience, gamers will pick up a game when they watch somebody playing it and go, ooh, that looks fun. I can't count the number of games I've bought because a streamer was playing it. And I'm like, ooh, that's a game I could play. So in my mind, that is how you make successful games, is you make it where people want to watch it be played to the point that they'll pick it up to play it themselves. This mechanic does not do that. I suppose try to avoid any need for thought of AFK. Yeah. If the answer is, well, I need to AFK overnight, you didn't do your game well. You should design your game where Thor can get on it, do like 16 hours of straight bit where he's not just, all right, we're going to talk for a while about stuff because there's nothing else I can do in the game. And yeah. The AFKing overnight should be a, hey, when I'm done with this, I'm never going to have to worry about anything ever again. And I'm doing it just because I'm going to bed and it will be nice. Not a, I have to AFK overnight. You shouldn't be forcing your players to put time into the game that they, like, yeah. Puma does that a lot for Terraria. Yeah. But like, with Stationeers, I could totally see me leaving, like, my moon base running overnight. Not because I need to. But just like, oh my god, can you imagine how much ore I will have? I will just be able to trade and trade and trade and trade for days without having to worry about my silos going empty. But my moon base on Stationeers was designed where I could just be playing it and I wouldn't have to worry about ores. I might eventually run out of money, but in honest truth, I really don't spend money in Stationeers either. So again, I don't need to overnight it. Well, just so you know, Creative, 36 minutes until I take off. And he's sitting there probably still savoring the pizza. Grease running down his chin. Countdown music. It's the final countdown. And on the note of, you know, sometimes you need to avoid things in games, like, I feel like we might be able to finish this game today. I'm really hoping they're not going to pull the, oh, you thought you were done, now we need you to make 1,000 of these slightly more annoying cubes to make. Because that would just be grind for grind if it turned out that, oh, no, you thought you were done. Now we need you to make 1,000 of these denser ones. Oh, you thought You thought you were going to be done after you made 1,000 of these denser ones. Now we need you to make 1,000 more of even denser ones. And at that point, you're just dragging out the game. And then like Shyamalan twist. The funny part is, with my brother and I, it's like, oh, an M. Night Shyamalan twist. Oh, you mean the twist you saw at the beginning of the movie that is just everyone else had to wait till the end of the movie to catch? Because, like, my brother realized that Bruce Willis was dead within, like, 5 minutes. That is a, well, let's call it here and never touch it again. Kind of. Like, I can totally get it if they're like, okay, you beat the game, now you want bragging rights. Now we go into the, you can make a denser cube that makes a denser cube that makes a denser cube. Not needing to be done, it's just for bragging rights. I could totally see someone like Slice getting behind that. I don't see most people getting behind that. Because you're even talking about how Slice is doing like a hardcore mode of this game. Honestly, I have no interest in doing a hardcore mode of this game. Because I'm looking at it going, why would I want to do this just harder when I know you have this giant time gap at the very end of the game? And to be fair to the developers, like, it's at the very end of the game that we're having this issue. Like, we went through the majority of the game and the flow was good, the pacing was good, we didn't really sit around twiddling our thumbs much, and it's only at this very end of the game that we're doing it, and it's just with this weird sand pump mechanic which has been called out as the downfall of this game. People have modded it where the sand pumps work better, so that way you're not doing this slug with the sand pumps. Wasn't there a study or something that showed very few people complete most games they start? Yeah, no, and like, you can see that when you go to Steam. Because like, you don't even really need to do a study when you can look at the Steam statistics. Like, it's fast enough that we don't want to add more speed. Yeah. Let me just go to my profile. Actually, this game's probably a great way to look at it. Because, like, go global achievements. I'm assuming greater goods rewarded for understanding a greater purpose is when we beat the game. 0.9%. 0.9% of people have beat the game. %, square roots rewarded for recovering key assets in Lima. That's basically the, hey, you played 5 minutes of the game and 20% haven't gotten it. I read 0.5. Let's see here. I'm trying to remember where do you look up the statistic for how many Alright. I used to know how to do this. Where is the X amount of people downloaded this game? statistic. Yes. It is. It is based on how many people have downloaded the game. Because, like, one of the fun bits, let's go to Subnautica. Because I know that a lot of people quote this one. Where is it? Alright, that's clearly a bug. My Steam's... Okay, he's leaving. Okay, let's see if I can reload that. Okay, clearly my Subnautica is bugged on the achievements because it's showing just zeros. But there's a, what was it, get your feet wet, which is basically you start the game and get your feet wet. So, quick, lock them out. Alright. Yeah, getting your feet wet, die for the first time. You know, that's basically, you literally, okay, here we go. It pulled it up finally. 88.2% of players have achieved this die for the very first time. That is, you play the game, you get the achievement, and 12% of people haven't even done it. So they bought the game and haven't touched it. Now, as much as we are teasing about that, let's count how many games I haven't even played in my Steam library. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81. 81 I haven't played, but in my defense, of those 81, only two I paid for. And one of them is slated for, as soon as my niece and I finish Subnautica, that's the next game we play. And the other game that I bought that I haven't played yet is also on that. It's on my streaming list. As soon as I work down the list, I will play it. I think I've only never played like... Now, mind you, like, this is according to my Steam library. And again, a lot of these are free games I picked up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4... 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10, 11. 11 of those games are games that I've technically played, just not through Steam. One, because the person I was supposed to play with decided to play with someone else, and it's a 2-player game. Gotcha! Another, because I got it, because it looked interesting and played it. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of these are ones where, like, Steam said, hey, free game! I'm like, oh, when I get around to it, I'll play it. And I'm a very busy person. But yeah, the two that I paid for, it's on the list of things to do. And again, one is as soon as my niece and I finish Subnautica, we're playing Breath Edge. I bought it specifically to play with her. And the other was the Dungeon Keeper, which I want to do Dungeon Keeper 2, Evil Genius, and then Exogate, which I have not bought Exogate yet. It is on my wish list. But basically, I want to find a way to put a slot where one day of the week I do the dungeon games and go through Dungeon Keeper 1, then Dungeon Keeper 2, then Evil Genius, then Evil Genius 2, and then Exogate. Honestly, Creative kind of threw me for a loop when we started playing games every day for Techtonica. Not complaining, just stating. But I don't want to let you go. I'm just saying you threw me for a loop and I haven't adjusted yet. Plus, I kind of want to beat this game too. We're so freaking close. And I'm tempted to slate Thursday for the dungeon games. This is just going to be one big empty pit, and I'm going to be annoyed if it is just an empty pit and you never needed to pump it down. At least you have a schedule. My days are always random. The trick with my schedule is it's kind of the opposite, where I made a schedule to give myself order. I knew that if I didn't set a schedule, that it would just be chaos for me. So I set the schedule to give myself order. Alright, and what are you? New data bait for Mark II conveyor belts, and it's a power trap. Alright. And that looks like it's the end of the research groups here. Now, is that the end of what we need to do here, or is there more down below? Well, this pump's about ready to go dry, so I'm guessing we might be at the bottom. I mean, there's this here that we could get to. There's this here we could get to. But I don't know if we have to. I wonder if it's going to force me to replace all of them. top two aren't even getting any power, so... Yeah, it's probably going to make me have to replace all of them. PC turning on. Alrighty. We're at 233 spectral cubes for the other one, the denser thing. Alright. Now we just have to wait for Creative to log in, join me, and then we will put this last cube in and see what happens.
Oh,
Hello.
for some reason the headset didn't want to connect.
Did you charge the batteries?
Well, it didn't want to connect to the dongle.
Oh, you know why I made the comment about the batteries. That was a poke at myself. I'll wait for you to get up here.
Where the hell did I do it? I am here.
Alright.
Outstanding work, Groundbreaker. Combined with the efforts of the Sergeant, Mirage has signaled to me that you have created enough of the sesamite cubes to lower the intensity of the decay wave considerably. If nothing else, this is a start. I will not pretend to understand the interplay of energies here, but we should return to the area in front of the monolith. From there, the sergeant can begin to open the portal, and from there, we can begin to send the cubes through. If there was anything you still wanted to explore or build, or if you don't have the time to witness what I suspect will be a considerable series of events, you may want to restrain yourself from approaching the portal.
Sounds like that's a, we complete the game if we want.
Let me just check.
Incroyable.
Groundbreaker, I want you to attach a beacon to one of these cubes so the pulse room can track its position. We're going to send one through as a probe.
No, sir. It has to be us. We have to step through it ourselves before the cubes can enter.
Permission denied. That portal could lead anywhere.
I know where it goes. I know now. I know.
The Calixians. They're channeling through her.
Portal readings beyond calculation. Means to assist you will be unknown. Sparks. Please reconsider. Sparks.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, Davika. We've come too far. Groundbreaker, take us in. Are we floating?
The Groundbreaker remains grounded, but yes, the rest of us are somehow capable of levitation here.
The beacon is transmitting. It seems we have been teleported to the antipode of our former position. The other side of the world.
Is this place really what it looks like?
It is. The design is alien, but the intent is unmistakable. This is a rocket silo, encased in invincible stone that would have made it impossible for us to access through any means but the monolith, and what we see have built within it.
Vessels? No. Impossible. Those skyscrapers are the size of continents. They must be 1,000 times the size of the world bearer that brought us here. The fuel alone to launch even one of them would be inconceivable.
Unless an entire planet was dedicated to doing so. Imagine every resource within it acting as a supply channel. Each one providing unique resources for every stage of these rockets, crafting them piece by piece, missing only the blood to run through it.
A workforce. Harvesting and refining everything within Calyx. Feeding these monolith portals with supplies to build these behemoths.
Our greater purpose.
We came to Calyx to build a factory, but Calyx already was one. We came to build machines. We were meant to become them.
A fate we narrowly avoided thanks to the Groundbreaker. But the fact remains that we have not succeeded in removing the Sessamite from Calyx by bringing it here. We will have to do more than feed it to these rockets. We will have to launch them as well.
No, we can't. You don't know what the writing on this screen says, do you?
We know you've been staring at it since we arrived, Sergeant. Don't leave us in suspense.
It's a targeting computer, designed to retrace the path of whoever comes here. If we launch these rockets, they go straight for Earth, with the cubes as a payload.
And then Earth becomes...
another Calyx. Or it would, if this Sessamite hadn't been turned by the decay wave. Because it was, Earth doesn't become a part of all this either. It just reproduces the decay. It just kills everyone.
Another ending.
So, we were wrong about the Calixians having no plan for us, cutting off their process and then taking control of their own game against them. Even though we made it to their silo with our free will intact, they've still left us with only a single way to dispose of the Sessamite. Firing this rocket at Earth, and destroying humanity instead.
Wait, Once we load enough cubes to finish a rocket, I think I know how to use this computer to reconfigure the targeting. A cube can't do it, but the Groundbreaker should be able to.
Outstanding. Groundbreaker. Once again, it seems you will play a pivotal role in... Groundbreaker?
The energy of passing through the portal, it seems to have overcome the restrictions of their suit.
Is that... Could it be?
Pacific.
They appear to be in pain. Wait. They're attempting to speak. Sir, something is wrong with your speech synthesizer.
No. Nothing is wrong with it. Sir? Get back. The Calixian.
Perhaps, Sergeant. Perhaps not. If interrupting calixification left the three of us with so many unanticipated threads of our humanity, who are we to say that the Groundbreaker is not in a similar state?
The Groundbreaker has reopened the portal. They're taking us back.
Of course they are. They want to keep manufacturing the cubes so they can build these rockets, and then either launch them towards Earth, or, hopefully, turn them away.
Hopeful. Why are they always hopeful?
Sergeant, shake those ghosts out of your head!
They came to find a greater purpose. To do something that would make a difference. Something that mattered. They gave their lives for it, captivated by how all they had done remained so fragile, so inevitably pointless. And yet, when they find purpose, a chance to undo the very existence that has given them so much pain, so many empty promises, they shy away. Why?
Because we can. Because despair is not an argument. Because the echo of misery you've chosen to spread across the universe amounts to nothing more than a voice that already existed inside anyone who ever tried to make the world a better place.
And if we were not stronger than that voice, we would not be here.
You're right. Both of you. It's not me saying all this, but it is. But if I know better, I'm sure the Breaker does too.
We do not know what they will choose, or if they can even choose at all. We've done all that we can. As the Major said, hope is all that remains.
Hope. Everything we've done. Everything we've been through. The years, preparation, the people we lost. All this work, all these factories, and it comes down to hope? We did all this for hope?
Why, Sergeant? Would you have rather done nothing? And had no hope at all?
I don't know.
Does anyone?
Alrighty. Okay, well.
Where's the achievement?
Alrighty, so now where are we at? Interesting. Settings. Audio. There we go. I'm like, for a moment, my game didn't have any sound. Yeah, you had the same thought I kind of did.
Yeah. Mm. So I guess they were wrong about it just being needing 1,000 of those.
Warning. Task added to HUD. Source unknown.
Source unknown.
The groundbreaker has received an order to continue filling the monolith receptacle with cubes. This order was not received from Anexcal subroutines.
Perhaps you were correct, Sergeant. The groundbreaker has been fully compromised, and some consciousness of this godforsaken place is instructing them to complete their rocket and unleash it on our homeworld.
No, I don't think so. If that was their intent, I would sense it. But they don't feel that way.
How do they feel?
Conflicted.
Either way, from this point forward, I am afraid they are on their own.
They are. Good luck, Groundbreaker. Don't break my heart.
All right.
Oh! There it is.
So, basically, a quick bit of research. This is what most people consider the end of the game. Apparently, they ran out of money and didn't actually come up with the rest of a story.
Oh. Okay.
Dev said it didn't make enough money and closed the studio. That's all there is. Unless modders go and add more.
Hmm.
That's sad, because I thought this was actually a really good game. Like, the story was quite compelling.
Yeah?
Like, if you handed me the creative reins to finish it, I'd make it where you get to make a choice whether you send the rockets to Earth, or find out there's no other answer than to basically take the noble death.
Yeah. So apparently we were starting to turn into a cube as well, or?
Kind of, sort of, they were trying to take control over us.
Hmm.
But at this point now, what I'm seeing is this is as far as the game went. Why there is, exactly as we expected, second tier is 8,000, third tier is 32,000. And
So what's all about the denser cube?
Again, it looks like they might have had an idea and then just didn't.
Hmm. Okay. So yeah, game completed.
Alright. So congratulations, we beat this game. Perfect timing
Slice
too.
wasn't here.
Slice was not here, sadly, but in his defense, we kind of did it at an unusual time.
Yeah.
But it is now 11, so it's like, talk about perfect timing, because now I need to go run my errands. So, I take it you will either go to something else or do your Dyson Sphere program. But I need to run. Thank you for joining us. For those of you watching the VOD, thank you for watching the VOD. I don't know when we're going to start it, but our next game is going to be Satisfactoria. Creative will be hosting it, so hopefully my computer won't struggle as hard. Although I've been told that most people's computers struggle at this point in this game. But yeah, I'm gonna let Creative host Satisfactoria, and honestly, Creative, if you start 2 hours ahead of me, I don't think that's gonna be that huge of a problem. I'll join you when I get time to join you, because I don't think I'm gonna miss much with you building the factories while I'm still eating dinner and getting ready.
Yeah.
So, thank you for joining us. We'll see you in the next game. I know later today I will be doing Subnautica with my niece. And after that, well, depends on what Creative's doing. Because if he's wanting to start Satisfactoria right away, we can do that. If not, then I might do X4 after Subnautica. But I gotta get running, so thank you all, and have a good time.